Behind the badge, a world of controversy awaits. In this gripping exposé, we delve into the riveting stories of female officers who found themselves entangled in legal battles. From explosive misconduct allegations to shocking lawsuits, join us as we uncover the untold tales of when female cops face the courtroom. Brace yourself for jaw-dropping revelations and thought-provoking insights in this exciting video. With that said, let's start. Cynthia Whitlock. On a warm summer day on July 9, 2014, a spirited tale unfolded in the bustling streets of Seattle. Meet William Wingate, a resilient 69-year-old man who took it upon himself to embark on a leisurely walk through the vibrant city. In his hands, instead of a conventional cane, he wielded a golf club with a sense of playful eccentricity. As fate would have it, Officer Cynthia Whitlock, a member of the esteemed Seattle Police Department, happened to cross paths with Mr. Wingate. With a dashcam capturing the unfolding events, Officer Whitlock approached him swiftly, commanding him to relinquish his trusty golf club. She insisted that he had recklessly swung it at her patrol car as she passed by him earlier. Determined to defend his innocence, Mr. Wingate requested proof of this alleged golf club incident from the dashcam footage or any available CCTV recordings. However, much to his surprise, neither the dashcam nor any surrounding surveillance cameras supported Officer Whitlock's claim. Yet, undeterred by this lack of evidence, she persistently demanded that William drop his golf club cane, repeating her orders a staggering 17 times. In a display of unwavering resolve, Mr. Wingate steadfastly refused to comply with Officer Whitlock's demand, instead expressing his desire to speak with a supervisor. Sensing the need for a higher authority to address the situation, he remained firm in his stance, unyielding to the officer's persistent insistence. Regrettably, the tale took a distressing turn. Officer Whitlock, without obtaining William's consent, proceeded to detain him, rummaging through his pockets and removing his personal belongings. In a flagrant disregard for his privacy, she took it upon himself to search his wallet in an attempt to locate his identification. Yet, much to her dismay, his identification remained elusive. Frustrated by her fruitless search, Officer Whitlock enlisted the help of fellow officers to help scour Mr. Wingate for any traces of identification. Despite his age and the clear violation of his rights, William endured this invasion of his personal space, hoping that justice would ultimately prevail. Once the officers had finished running a background check on Mr. Wingate and confirmed that he had no criminal record, Officer Whitlock felt compelled to share her reasoning before ending the recording. Unfortunately, the video yielded no evidence to incriminate Mr. Wingate. However, the officers, perhaps driven by a sense of urgency, decided to proceed with the arrest anyway. They guided him down to the street to the East Precinct, seeking approval from a supervisor. It took them approximately 20 minutes before the video resumed, this time showing the inside of a paddy wagon. There, the officers watched as the elderly man, his hands cuffed, astonishingly maneuvered himself into the prisoner holding area, preparing for transport to the King County Jail. Charges of harassment and obstruction were hastily pressed against Mr. Wingate, despite the lack of substantial evidence. The sole basis for these charges seemed to be the fact that he had a golf club in his possession, and Officer Whitlock's testimony. After enduring 30 hours behind bars, prosecutors at the city attorney's office decided to add a misdemeanor charge of unlawful use of a weapon based on the SPD incident report. It claimed that Officer Whitlock had observed Mr. Wingate aggressively swing his golf club toward her patrol car. However, there was no evidence to support such a claim. The incident stirred public outcry, and as a result, the case was dismissed 2 months later. Shortly after, the Seattle Police Department's chief returned to Mr. Wingate's golf club and extended an apology. Frustrated by the ordeal, Mr. Wingate eventually filed a lawsuit against the department. Ultimately, the city of Seattle was forced to pay a staggering $1.3 million as a compensation for the department's grave error. However, of that amount, William Wingate himself was only awarded $325,000. A significant portion, $353,000, went to Seattle's defense attorneys, while $600,000 covered attorney fees and costs for Mr. Wingate's legal team and their support staff. As for Officer Whitlock, her actions did not go unpunished. About a year after the incident, she was terminated from the police force due to her biased behavior and overly aggressive policing. However, she chose to contest her dismissal by filing a lawsuit to recover lost income. Surprisingly, they reached a settlement that not only reversed her termination, but also allowed her to retire. This decision cost the taxpayers a sum of $105,000 in back pay. The only silver lining in this entire debacle was the stipulation in the settlement contract that she would never be able to work in law enforcement again. If this has already angered you, brace yourself for something even worse. You fathom the depths of racism that some police officers can stoop to? Prepare to witness an appalling act of racism and watch the entire video. Rose Valentino. Once upon a time in the quaint neighborhood of West Bryce Hill, an unexpected series of events unfolded, entangling the lives of Valentino and the people around her. It was the year 2018 when a lawsuit emerged, casting a shadow over Valentino's reputation as one of the officers responsible for unjust detention. The lawsuit claimed that a black realtor and a black prospective homebuyer had been wrongfully held by Valentino and two other officers during a scheduled house viewing. Their voices echoed through the corridor of justice, seeking redress for the injustice they had endured. As the legal battle raged on, the city's conscience stirred, eventually leading to a moment of reckoning. Realizing the gravity of the situation, the city authorities stepped forward, offering their sincere apologies for the wrongs committed. Acknowledging the pain and suffering inflicted upon the two individuals, they sought to make amends by granting a remarkable settlement of $151,000. It was a small but meaningful step towards healing the wounds of injustice. However, as the chapter closed on the lawsuit, another chapter began to unfold in Valentino's life. The year was 2020, and news spread like wildfire about her involvement in an off-duty incident of disorderly conduct. Family ties became entangled in a web of discord, and Valentino found herself caught in the midst of a storm. The weight of her actions pressed upon her shoulders, and the wheel of justice began to turn once more. Records uncovered a pivotal moment in Valentino's life, a referral to a behavioral health center. In a quest to understand and address the underlying issues, she embarked on a journey of self-reflection and personal growth. It was there, within the walls of the center, that she delved deep into the realm of anger management, seeking to find solace and harmony within herself. 2 years of probation stood as a reminder of the path she had embarked upon, a path of transformation and redemption. And in the year 2022, the day started like any other for Officer Valentino. Little did she know that fate had something unimaginable in store for her. While driving her cruiser, frustration began to bubble within her, exacerbated by the crawling traffic outside Western Hills University High School. Impatience gnawed at her, threatening to consume her calm facade. Suddenly, a student nearby caught her attention, their youthful defiance displayed through a defiant middle finger raised in the air. A surge of anger coursed through Valentino's veins, causing her emotions to erupt like a volcanic tempest. Her clenched fist met the unforgiving steering wheel, each pound echoing her mounting fury. But it wasn't just the traffic or the provocative gesture that set her off. It was what she uttered in that moment of unchecked rage. The words that spilled from her mouth were vile, venomous, and laced with abhorrence, oblivious to the fact that her body camera was recording every damning syllable. The gravity of her words did not go unnoticed. A subsequent internal report shed light on the incident, revealing the chilling truth of Valentino's racist outbursts. However, there was a curious twist to the tale. The report claimed that Valentino's use of the racial slur was provoked by the student's middle finger. But alas, the body camera's footage only provided a limited perspective, failing to capture the student in question. News of that incident spread like wildfire, and it wasn't long before the school involved became the center of attention. Western Hills University High School, a place where the majority of the students were black, suddenly found itself thrust into the spotlight. The statistics painted a vivid picture of the racial dynamics at play. Nearly 70% of the students were black, and over 87% belonged to non-white or minority communities. The incident left the community reeling, and voices of outrage began to rise. The ACLU of Ohio condemned Valentino's actions, deeming them inexcusable. It was a moment that underscored the need for change, for an end to the pervasiveness of such hateful speech in the world. Seeking to redeem herself, Valentino sought treatment following the incident. She claimed that her profession had taken its toll on her psyche, leading her to become desensitized to racially offensive language. She attributed her slip of the tongue to exposure to such language in music and the casual conversations overheard in the streets. It was a fragile attempt to explain the inexcusable, a plea for understanding in a world fraught with racial tension. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, the city manager's office grappled with a difficult decision. In the end, they approved the termination of Officer Rose Valentino, severing her ties with the Cincinnati Police Department. The message was clear. There was no room for hate within the ranks, regardless of whether one wore the uniform or performed a civilian